welcome back to Let's Play Higurashi, Tatarigoroshi. I have no idea how the fuck this is gonna work. I've got a new mic, and it sucks. To be fair, it only cost me like a $5, so it's kinda expected that kind of price you ain't gonna get top quality, but still. It also seems to have fucked my internal microphone that I'd been using up till now. Because now all it has is zzz. The only upside to having a microphone again is
I can get up close to it and be all like, listen to this voice that sounds like something you'd hear narrating a H.P. Lovecraft story. Some other shit.
But another problem is it's got a stand, but it's just awkward as fuck. I don't get it. I don't know. Didn't come with instructions or anything for that. I don't think. Actually, maybe it did. I don't really remember, honestly. But like the stand is like it doesn't stand up correctly. Maybe I don't know. It feels like if I tried to do that, it'd probably snap the damn thing in half. I don't get it. It's like it's got that ball thing. Actually, let me see if I can adjust that. No, there's literally no way. Cause like the part on the ball you connect it to just doesn't turn. Well, it turns, but it turns with the other bit, so you can't really adjust it, it seems. I mean, what the hell kind of design is that? Or maybe I just put it in wrong. Might have been the latter, but I don't know. Either way it goes, I'm holding this with the frickin' stand because I have to adjust the audio settings, because there's like no way this thing's gonna work if I just put it down here on my desk, because it probably won't pick up my voice. In fact, I'm going to test that. It's like start up, there'll probably be some music, so I'll just see how this sound recording is going first and see if I need to adjust anything. Not that there's much I can really do. I've tried going into settings and all that. I turned the microphone boost all the way down because even with the slightest bit, it's like zzzz. I've even looked up about like effects like that. This microphone I'm using is like it's a jack one. You just plug it into the jack. It's not USB. And that was like I was looking for the one I had years ago, that Logitech one, but I couldn't find it, so I just went with this one. I don't even know what brand it is, to be honest. Anyways, music? No.
I said too much. I let my emotions get the better of me with this horrible background noise.
Honestly, this right here sounds exactly like the background noise in a way. It's like having that constantly in the background with the audio.
Rena heard it too. He said Satoko-chan's uncle didn't come home.
I wonder how this will sound with this horrible sound. Why? Why didn't he come home?
That's strange. Satoko-chan's uncle was right there this morning, wasn't he? Or why would he say he didn't come back?
Wait, what? Keiichi, you've been saying weird things for a while. Suddenly, Mion and Rena started speaking strange and creepy voices. Or is Keiichi, imagining it or something? I don't know what's going on anymore. And evidently neither is Keiichi. What were they doing? What were they saying? Also of note is I've calculated 3 parts of this before October runs around will be uploaded, going with the usual schedule there. And it's just like, can we complete the rest of this arc before then? And depend how, like, if there's still quite a few parts somehow left before then, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Keiichi, is it somehow inconvenient for you for Satoko's uncle to be around? There is music now. No, what are you talking about? Of course it would be better if Satoko's uncle wasn't here. Oh shit, yep, Keiichi's definitely like he's tripping balls a bit.
Yep, that's true. Of course, if only he weren't here, right?
Sorry, I just wanted to do that now that I'm there on mic. Just be over the top. We're testing it to its limits here. How will it sound with music in the background? This isn't a loud enough track to really properly test it. And to test how close and personal we can get with the mic going. And how far away we can get it before it goes quiet. Well, it won't go quiet because it's going to be constantly like... But it comes even on the soundtrack, so back at you. So, I'm going to stop recording there and test to see how that turned out. Yeah, evidently, I'd say this thing, surprisingly, I didn't hear. Maybe if I put on my headphones, earphones, my headphones don't work, I'd probably be able to hear that more, but I didn't really notice it there. What I did notice, though, is that there is indeed inconsistent audio. Like, it makes sense. Just like, far away from the mic sounds quieter, up close sounds really more clear. I mean, when I was like,
This talking like this, it picked up very clearly.
when I was speaking away from it, it kind of wasn't. So I think I'm going to do another test here. So let's continue on a bit more after just in editing, I guess. Something wasn't right here. Yes, I'll tell you what's not right here. I know it's not the mic. It is the word of the day. The word of the day shall be... How about... Sugu. Immediately, soon as. What an odd word for the day that is. Anyways. The next thing I knew, Mion and Rena were smiling thinly and their eyes were dark and muddy in a way that I'd never seen before. And as our eyes met, that mud even seemed to fill the air. Sudoku's uncle is an awful person, no doubt. I think we'll all be better off with him gone just as much as you do. But he's here. There's nothing we can do, right? Nothing we can do. Something's wrong. Something's clearly wrong here. What the hell was happening? After a moment of chilly, liquid-like feeling, as though my body had been mixed with sherbet, crawled up my spine. No choice, of course there isn't, but then Sudoku will never...
If there's no choice, what would you do?
Rena was trying to prompt me to say more. There really was no choice, so I killed him. I killed him to protect Sudoku. So, let's see how that sounded. It's just like, yeah, abrupt. I'm still testing the microphone out here. Let's see how it sounds. A moment. Yeah, I think that'll do. You know, honestly, I've been recording for the other October LP, which is obviously going to be the shorter of the two. It's a game called Echo Knight. I'm not sure if I mentioned that in the previous recording. I mentioned Resident Evil, obviously. I don't know if I mentioned that one, because I don't think I'd actually started recording for that at that point, but... I'm using the actual, Camtasia to record this one rather than the capture card, so I've been, tested out this mic already, essentially. And it was constantly bzzz, so I wonder how it's gonna sound now that I've adjusted the audio settings on it. Because that game has barely a soundtrack, it's mostly silence. So it's you really have to have the mic being quite cooperative, otherwise it'll just be bzzz, that would be the soundtrack. And it's not like a point and click or anything like that where I could just pick up my guitar and be like, go here, da la 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 la, go there, blah 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 blah, ding ding bang bow. With my guitar, except the guitar doesn't make those sounds. But anyways, continuing on with the blocks. That's gotta be real close to the mic though. Leave him alone. I think things will resolve themselves soon enough.
Sudoku-chan said her uncle was here, so he's here. He was here yesterday and he's here today. She said so it's fine, right? Right?
Mion and Rena were speaking unbelievably dismissively. How could they be talking like that? Mion and Rena, they were my friends and were seriously worried about Sudoku's abuse, weren't they? They would never let out something like this. And I definitely killed Sudoku's uncle. The matter what Sudoku or anyone else says. I wouldn't acknowledge it, because him being alive was impossible. This really does give off Onikakushi vibes, doesn't it, this arc at this point? There's no way he was alive. It was impossible. And yet, since Sudoku herself said he was here, then he was alive, then there was silence, so that means there's a chance this microphone might go like... Seriously, man, I got nothing but technical issues these days with this. It's like my laptop speakers are fucked, for the most part, and like, it's all like... My keyboard is fucked because most keys I have to forcibly freaking press down on to get them to work. It's just like, oh, and not only that, it seems like even my laptop monitor is a bit damaged somehow. Clearly I need a new laptop, but I'm just like, but if I have to get a new laptop, which is an inevitable thing really, to be honest, but it's just like I have to freaking back everything up. I mean, I do that, but I haven't really got much space left on my external hard drive. These freaking videos take up a lot, you know? It's like Final Fantasy X, that LP for example. A file size for that is like 500 megabytes, man. That's like an average for that. This LP is nothing compared to that. It's like each part like probably doesn't even make it up to 100 megabytes for each part. But you get the idea. There are plenty of LPs I've done that have had large file sizes. And it's not only that as well, there's also freaking Camtasia right here. I'd have to buy it again because it'd be like, oh no, you purchased it years ago, but you can't, you know, transfer it over. You have to buy it again, probably. Anyways, it was impossible, and yet since Sudoku herself said he was here, then he was alive. I didn't know why or how, but suddenly Mion and Rena were at my side, standing there silently. Let's go home, Keiichi-chan.
After we leave, Rena wants to go treasure hunting for the first time in a while. Mei-chan's coming too.
Keiichi-chan, you should come along. Of course, you're not allowed to refuse. If words could freeze blood and cause eerie oriental music to play, then there was no doubt that they would have frozen me solid. What instrument is that made that anyway? You're in like Eastern kind of horror, really, isn't it? It's just like meow, meow, wow. I could hear it, a layer of thin ice, the sound of all my muscles tensing. I also noticed in the testing of the audio, when I do that, heck, even with the old internal microphone, still had the same thing, where my voice doesn't pick up quite as well when I go into that voice for some reason, and I don't know why. And with them closely at my sides, we left the school as if they were police officers taking me away. They talked about silly things the entire way home, like they always did, but they always stood at my sides, as if to prevent me from escaping. This was strange. Everything about this day was strange. Actually, it had been strange ever since the previous night. Yes, thinking back, it had been strange ever since killing Sudoku's uncle. Yeah, that is strange, isn't it, Keiichi? That creepy meeting with Darkness-san was only the beginning. The beginning of the end of that insane night was still continuing. Yes, it still hadn't ended. What? What's wrong, Keiichi-chan? Why did you suddenly stop? Sorry, it's nothing. When I stopped, it was distant, but I definitely heard them. An extra set of footsteps. That was proof. Proof that insane night hadn't ended. That's one good thing about having the mic. It can just be all dramatic like that. Mion left where she usually did, and finally we came to my house.
Okay, Keiichi! That's not the voice. Okay, Keiichi, go and wait here for me.
Actually, let's do that up close.
I know I come to pick you up soon.
It sounds so weird. What was it? She was invite me along on one of her oversized garbage treasure hunts at the dam site, right?
But then suddenly, but why now? Mion coming along was strange too. Mion may have accepted Rena's little hobby, but she hated fishing through garbage, so she'd never come with her before. And the location specifically being the dam site was a little creepy. The damn construction site was completely outside the flow of everyday life. It was so remote that not one ever went there unless they fought to it in particular. Nobody lived there, and there were no lights, so at night it got dark very quickly.
The microphone fell out of its stand! Not that it makes a difference with me holding and all, but still. I was being forcefully invited there. There was no reason I had to fear Rena and Mion, but isn't it suspicious? Besides, wouldn't the trouble I'd make by refusing them be a pain to deal with? In that way, it didn't seem like going treasure hunting with them was a bad idea. But that insane night was continuing. Haven't the sirens of instinct been wailing in my mind for a while now? Warning me that Rena and Mion were strange, that I needed to be cautious. It was getting Onikakushi vibes. The warning sirens were so freaking loud it felt like my head would split in two. Rena, I actually have something to do.
Something to do? Like what?
Like what? Yeah, I just have something to do, okay?
You had something to do, why didn't you say it while Michan was here? I already told her to meet us at the dam site before we split up.
Rena was smiling, but her words made her discomfort clear. Sorry, I just kinda missed the opportunity to say so.
Really?
You're lying, aren't you? You just made it up now. Liar. That's what Rena's eyes said to me. Well, they don't say it in, all capitals with many exclamation marks until she does the eyes. My head hurts. I might have a cold, so I went to go get it checked out and get some medicine.
Really?
That wasn't really a lie. My head did hurt a little bit, so it wasn't lying. Rena, she can figure out if my head hurt or not just by looking at it.
Then, I guess that's that.
After staring me in the eyes for a few moments, she fired a sharp needle-like stare at me. Or maybe that was him that said that. The tension in my body loosened, and I felt like my knees might buckle.
If you're going to the clinic, then you should go soon. Sometimes they close early.
Thanks, I'll do that.
Make sure you go, okay? To the hospital.
I will.
Go for real.
I will. Seemed like Rena had realized that I was going to refuse her invitation for a while now. With how serious she looked, she might actually call the clinic later to make sure I went. I couldn't say anything careless. Lying about getting checked out was just an excuse to decline her request in the first place. It didn't matter whether I actually went. Yeah, I'll go. If you want, I can bring you the bill tomorrow.
Oh, that would be good. Be sure to bring it, okay? Rena will look at it then.
Another tingle started crawling up my body. There was no ignoring it. Rena and Mion must have been monitoring my movements. That wasn't normal. Far from it. All of it was insane. I did what I did because I wanted my peaceful life back. But what on earth was all this? It was far from peaceful. Something had gone mad, leaving the world out of order. With the other Keiichi, with those creepy footsteps I've been hearing, with Rena and Mion acting so curious, and above all, with him being alive. Where was I? In Mizawa village, Shishobone. I knew that much. Was this really the Hinibizawa I knew? Hey, Keiichi, where is this? I asked, whipping around before the front door to face the one who had been following in my wake all day. I've been reading it in this kind of voice that I gotta start this as
Can go like reading a H.P. Lovecraft story.
Because, if you've ever seen the audio kind of book versions of his stories on YouTube, the guy that narrates them has
this kind of voice.
But I was like, which one was I listening to? Yeah, the Yog-Sothoth. Well, the whole thing about Lovecraft is it doesn't matter if you don't pronounce the names incorrectly. because they don't have a correct way of speaking them because they're supposed to be alien and shit. But they had that one in there. What was it called? The Dunwich Horror. That was the one. I don't know, like, he's like got a really good narration voice, but if you listen to that one and when he gets the voice acting characters, it just sounds hilarious because he goes from all serious to oh my god. No, not like that. It just sounds silly. It's like it just comes out of nowhere. It kind of takes away from the seriousness of the situation. Just like, and then he said something like this, and then he goes into this kind of voice given the character, and it just sounds silly. Anyways, that's got nothing to do with this. I don't know. Just thought I'd mention that because I was doing that kind of voice. Anyway, the one who has been falling in the wind. That's a bit of a wolf on the wall of my wig. Nobody would have been there, of course. What was there? Keiichi Maibara, huh? So I just called the one who had been trailing behind me this whole time. That shadowy presence always clinging to me, like it was constantly watching for the opportunity to change places. Footsteps always following me was another impossibility. It couldn't have been a ghost, so it was just impossible. So the strangers must have been my ears, my head, or even his hour. Everything I could see was the same exact thing as how I knew so well, and that gave me the creeps. And again, all this will make sense eventually. Eventually I decided to actually go to the clinic. I really didn't want to go outside, but a stronger feeling than that desire was the fear Rena might actually be keeping an eye on me to see if I went to the hospital. But before I went to the clinic, there was something I wanted to make sure of. It was at school. I pretended I'd forgotten something, and was going back to the classroom to pick it up. And as soon as he did that, the music stopped. I mean, it started up, and then it just stopped. As soon as the thought crossed my mind, I was overwhelmed by paranoia. I was just going to the classroom, but I hated it so much, having to be so careful to pick it. After carefully verifying once more that nobody was watching, I went over to the locker. Yes, Satoshi's locker. I committed the crime with the bat I found in his locker, Satoshi's bat. And then I had thrown the bat into a swamp, which meant the bat shouldn't have been inside. But, what if the bat was still in here? It was a very dreadful, incomprehensible idea, but if it was true, it would explain a lot. If the bat was in here, yesterday's events would have all been a delusion. No, an illusion. I hadn't killed anyone and I'd gone to the festival. I had a great time rampaging about with everyone. It would prove that Keiichi Maibara was really me. Proof that I was only under some strange assumption that I had killed Sadoko's uncle. Proof that it had all been a wild fantasy. That would explain everything. Nothing happened yesterday. I had just gone mad, unable to separate my shocking, uncle-killing dream from reality. Well, you'd have gone mad in either scenario, really. That would explain everything. If the bat was here, would I be able to accept that reality? If it was here, nothing will have changed. If it was here, it would just mean I'd gone crazy. Preparing myself for the worst, I opened the locker door. I was actually scared of opening it slowly, so I threw it open with a bang. And just like the first time, the choking scent of smell and sweat like a stale towel came flowing out. There was a baseball uniform and there's a lady of other things like notebooks. There was also a shoe pouch, and as for the bat, it wasn't here. It was how I left it when I took the bat out. There was no doubt yesterday really happened. I was about to say, just like, because like we got that tip where like Oishi and all that is like stumbled upon Tomatake's death, and they were like, I guess it wasn't Teppei this year. And then it's like, wait a second, it's like, did he come home that night? And it kind of gives that indication, just like, yes, that really did happen. But now it's all like confusing and shit. where everyone's all like acting like it didn't. So, who is the one that's really imagining things here? Keiichi or Satoko? Well, considering really, you know, it could even be both, really. I mean, you saw his reaction, like Mion and Rena, they wouldn't react like that, you know? I don't know. Well, I do know, but I'm not gonna really go into much detail about it, or any detail about it. Just speculation, even though I know what it all means. Anyways, there was no doubt, yes, they really happened. Now that I knew I wasn't a lunatic, I felt relieved. Are you absolutely certain, though, Keiichi? But at the same time, if I wasn't the crazy one, then Hinmisao was, and that was evidence of a reality I found just as difficult to accept. There was noise somehow creeping into everything I saw, and the world was losing a tiny bit of color. So what did I know about last night now? Now that I made sure the bat wasn't there, I didn't need to be here anymore. Shall I go? For real, to the hospital. It was my first time going to the hospital, but from what I'd heard, it wasn't far from school. My mama told me there, where it was, a big, easy-to-see road went straight there. I went past the shopping street and made a turn. It wasn't overly hard to spot the sign with Irie Clinic written on it. Did he even figure that out in the end? I can't remember, it's been ages. But did he ever figure out that he's actually, you know, a doctor? You know, the building kinda looks more like, I don't know. I was gonna say apartment kind of building, but I don't know at the same time. I mean, it does kind of look like a clinic, I suppose. Probably is in real life as well. Or maybe it is, I don't know. You know, that begs the question. These are real pictures taken from an actual village that's Higurashi is based on. Location-wise, obviously, only. Not like the actual events of Higurashi, but just the location. So, it makes me wonder what that actually says. Because it probably doesn't say Irie Clinic unless they were just like, went to that village just like, okay, people of this here far out rural village, we're gonna make a sound novel, right? And we're gonna take pictures throughout the village and we're gonna use them for it. So, like, we saw that you got Irie Clinic written there, so I assume this is owned by a guy named Irie, so that's correct. Well, do you mind if we name a character after you? What's the story all about? Oh, lots of death? It's like, well, okay, whatever. Just like, as long as my character isn't an asshole, that's all that counts. I don't know. Because I cannot read kanji yet. I know that's the kanji character used to refer to people, person, and all that shit. But it's kind of like, I don't fully understand it. It's just like, and you can't quite make out those ones either. Confusing. Anyways. There was one other person, an older man, there in the air-conditioned waiting room. I went up to the counter and told him it was my first time here. The man behind the counter glanced at the clock and said there would be a short wait. It was almost 5. Clinic hours would be ending soon. As I sat in this unfamiliar waiting room, isolated from everyone, and let myself feel the cold air, I actually felt relieved. What should I tell the doctor when he comes? I could tell him I had a cold, but I was a very picture of health. Actually, I wanted him to check my head. I wanted someone to confirm for me whether I was really sane or not. Who's the one? Well, just assume it's female. Keiichi Maibara-san, please come into the examination room. Huh? Oh, wait. Okay. Keiichi Maibara-san. Oh, fuck. I forget how his voice even goes. I always get that wrong, isn't it? It's like, did you just assume that character's gender? Well, you got it wrong, asshole! The voice from the other side of the examination curtain. I thought I'd heard it somewhere before. Shit, you thought I was a lady? Just because I have this hairstyle?